Sarah, thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. We wanted to talk about the new Rain.Rdy line with Wind.Ready and Rain.Ready, boy, technologies coming together. And I kind of wanted to start with, what do you at Adidas think and prioritize when you're making this kind of rain gear for bad weather conditions?
I mean, number one, it's really built for the athlete. It's built to perform on course. So we listen to a lot of athlete and consumer insights. We need it to be quiet. We need it to have stretch. Those are some really key components that we continue to hear time and time again. There is a lot of golf outerwear out there, and we really wanted to make sure that we were able to kind of bring a more progressive take on it, a little bit more not necessarily a unique silhouette, but just a more progressive take on outerwear and do something different than we've done in the past. And again, making sure that it performs on the course was our number one priority.
I thought the most interesting thing in kind of seeing the announcement around it was around trying to make it quiet. And I've never really kind of gotten that into my head about, okay, I'm going to wear a jacket. It's going to make noise. So yeah, why did you decide to harp in on that? And without giving it all away, how did you do it?
Yeah, so it is quiet to us was really important because we didn't want any distractions, right? So you're out on the course and it's already raining. You don't need additional distractions, whether it be as you're walking down the course or, during your swing. We, again, really wanted to focus in on that performance.
So what is it, a change of materials? Is it what gets you to there?
Yeah, so this is actually the new Rain.Rdy is a knit material, which is really cool and different. A lot of times rain materials are woven, so they definitely have a little bit more of that kind of not always, but like a crunchier feel. So this is a knit, so it's super soft on your hand, and it's actually a three-layer knit. So there's an outer knit membrane that's really soft that helps repel and keep the water off of you. Then there's an inner membrane that again keeps the water out, doesn't get in, and then the last one is another knit that just keeps it really comfortable on your skin. So sometimes it's either lined or that third layer is kind of a printed, like they call it a 2.5 layer. So sometimes it gets clammy on your skin. So we really wanted to focus on a knit material that had a ton of stretch and that just felt good on you and kept you quiet. We kind of were trying to do everything, I guess.
Can you kind of explain to people, I'm not playing dumb about this. Can you explain to people the difference between knit and woven?
All right, so the difference between knitted and woven fabrics are knitted fabrics use loops to interlace with the rows, and wovens are actually interlaced with kind of a more flat woven. So knit can stretch through the loops in the structure, but wovens are locked in due to the weave, which is like an over-under pattern.
I think the really interesting thing about having that inner knit layer, thinking about the comfort of it, because I mean, most people I think about rain gear as utility first, if not only, that it's not going to be really comfortable and it's going to make a lot of noise. But the comfort piece of it, I thought, was really interesting, that you wanted to kind of, yeah, it's going to keep the rain out, but you want it to feel pretty good like a jacket would.
Yeah, a lot of times people aren't really excited to pull out their rain jacket. They're not like, yay, it's raining, unless maybe you're like at Bandon Dunes where you're kind of want that story to be able to tell your friends back home. But yeah, again, we really just wanted to make it something that you would like to wear, that you might even wear off course because it's so comfortable and it really does provide that level of protection. So it kind of makes you feel comfortable and makes you kind of, in Southern California, we don't get a ton of rain. So for sure, like if it ever rains, I'm like, no, thank you. But now with this jacket, I'm like, okay, maybe I'll go out. I feel a little bit more comfortable. Even when you're walking, it just like slides against your skin. So yeah, comfort was definitely, because I think comfort sometimes is forgotten in performance. It's like, we want it to stretch and be quiet, but comfort is a level of performance, right? As long as, again, kind of that no distraction thing.
Right. If you're feeling good, well, as good as you can in the rain, the odds are you're going to probably play a little bit better in the rain.
Yeah.
On the fashion piece of it, sounded like it looked like there were 4 different colorways available and kind of a fairly wide, for rain gear, variety of kind of black, blue, hemp, more or less tan, and then quiet crimson.
Yep.
How do you make those choices and balance out? Okay, it's supposed to be kind of a neutral looking thing, but also something you shouldn't be embarrassed to wear.
Right. I mean, obviously, you're right. Like the black and the navies are going to kind of be our staple pieces that you have to have in there. Again, if you're going to buy one rain jacket, you maybe don't always want like this bright pink piece, but we're definitely seeing a trend of more like these neutral colors. So that hemp color has been doing so good for us because it's kind of this new neutral. It's still super easy to wear. It's really like kind of looks nice on the golf course, and you can again wear it off the course because it is a little bit more fashionable. We work with our design team on color every season. And so they really help set the colors for the season. And they get that color from the global Adidas color team. And they're really looking at, even further out in advance than we are of what colors are trending and, what they're seeing in the color market.
So the waterproof piece of this, there's a warranty to it, obviously, and all the materials are certified to be waterproof. Is that something that maybe we kind of take for granted, how much work goes into making something waterproof?
It's something we take for granted. It's something on our end that we take super seriously. So Rain.Rdy obviously is a global Adidas story. You're ready for the rain. And there are some pretty high standards. Again, I can get those to you because I don't want to mess them up because they're sometimes pretty technical. But there's some pretty high standards that we as a golf team need to pass. And even in order for it to be called Rain.Rdy, it has to be, how much pressure the water or the material can withstand of water on top of it. Everything has to be critically seam sealed. The fabric itself is really hard to find. So we started working so we're normally on an 18-month creation time period. So right now we're working on fall 24. We started working on Rain.Rdy 6 months even before that, because there were so many trial and errors and so many different testing procedures that we need to go through. And Adidas has some really strict standards for Rain.Rdy.
So I mean that you're not creating these standards on the fly. I mean this is a wide variety of different sports and activities you're trying to fit into.
Absolutely. So Adidas has a Rain.Rdy standard that golf has to uphold, that outdoor has to uphold, that training has to uphold. We are a performance sport brand and want to make sure that people feel confident when they use our products, that they're going to perform and that we, stand behind our product and our material. So there's definitely a lot of testing that goes into these products.
At the same time, you're trying as a company to reduce plastic waste, to have a better environmental impact, or I guess more minimal environmental impact. These products have 100% recycled polyester materials in them. How much of a challenge was that to introduce that to this lineup?
I'm not, it's just kind of become second nature to us. We haven't, it's something that we just automatically look for in golf and I, many of our other business units too, but we just know like when we're looking for new materials, they need to either be, there needs to be a level of sustainability. So we don't even really look at materials that wouldn't pass. So I think it's just, like I said, kind of second nature to us and something that has really become the norm.
Has that the market for those materials, you said that some of them are really hard to get, has that evolved and expanded over time, and how much?
Yeah, again, we would probably have to tap a little bit into our materials team, but everything that our suppliers are sending us now, they are also, they know that we're required to have these sustainable materials, so they're working on their end. I think it's actually a pretty cool, like company or movement to be a part of, because there is such an impact, that the apparel industry can do for the planet. And so I think it's cool to be part of this movement of, we took a stand and we're going to do all of these sustainable materials.
There's kind of a lot, I think I've heard a lot of talk over the years about fast fashion as kind of something that adds to waste, something that piles up, but rain gear doesn't feel like something like that. This is something that you're investing in for 5, 10, potentially 15 years, depending on how you use it and maintain it. So that seems like a product unto itself that's meant to be sustainable.
Yeah. Yes. And, we kind of goes back to those, you're right. We want to make sure that it can be used and used again. And you're not having to buy a jacket every 6 months, because this is something that's going to last you, because you believe in the technology and we believe that we need to give you the best product that can perform.
So what is testing of the material like? I mean, I've seen from a couple of friends in the media world that they had rain sprayed on them, like Banff up in Canada and things like that. But I mean, what does it look like for you and your team to test it other than on us in the media?
Yeah, so the testing is actually done a lot of times overseas on the material level. I can get we really should have our materials guy on here for you. I can get potentially some video or some images for you, but I think they, put the material under, they put it and then they'll dump the rain on it and make sure, like within a little tube, kind of how you measure rain, and then they see how much pressure the material can hold of water on top of it. There's a rain chamber. So yeah, they put the product on a mannequin and they, rain chamber it out, and they make sure the mannequin then is dry by some sort of laser technologies. Luckily, I don't have to be in the rain chamber, or no one on our team has to. We have done in the past, like we'll go out in the parking lot and spray rain on our materials team and be like, all right, so far so good. We know it has to be more, but this is our first level of testing.
And so when thinking about the waterproof nature of it, is there a duration of time where it's got to stand up to certain amounts of rain? Like at a certain point, if you were in a hurricane for 48 hours in a row, it's going to fail. I mean, that's just life. But what's kind of the expectation of it?
So I believe it's like 10,000 millimeters per square inch. So like that's like the technical test of that. So, if you go 10,000 meters under the sea, you might get, I don't think that's the exact right word, but it's like a 10,000 millimeters of pressure on the material before it can fail.
And I think most golfers are probably not thinking about any of these types of questions. All they really want to know at the end of the day is, am I going to stay dry the 1 or 2 times a year I might play in the rain? Is it hard to kind of market rain ready gear to people who maybe have an aversion to playing in the rain in the first place? Or are you trying to talk to the golfer type who's like, I will play in any condition?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think, there are people who are like, I don't want to play, but I think that this is what's great about this jacket is it's so comfortable. It does stretch. It is quiet. It actually make you want to play. And of course, we are talking to that guy who is out there and wanting to play in the rain and knows that he needs his protection performance. But I think that we'll be surprised, with a lot of these people who are not typically rain people. Again, coming from Southern California, I'm like, no, thank you. If it rained one day the other day and I was like, I have to go outside, but I was like, where's my rain ready jacket? And so like, it becomes a little bit less scary. I think, it gives you one more reason to kind of go out rather than stay in.
And when do most people kind of do their shopping and thinking about this type of gear? Is it ahead of the season, or is it 3 days before when the weather forecast turns?
I think you're right. I think it's 3 days before the weather turns. I think you're at a golf course and it's raining. Again, I think there are probably some people who plan a little bit better because, our European friends, they're used to playing in the rain. If they won't play in the rain, then they're probably not going to play. So they definitely plan a little bit more. But I do think for a majority of the people, it's a little bit more of an impulse type buy, a need buy versus like I'm really excited for my next rain jacket buy.
I guess, and with this, for you personally, what are some of the most fun facets of working on this type of product?
I love working on this type of product because it's a pretty big challenge. It's so different from, we do polos and we do them well, and we know them well. But rain is such a challenge with, okay, you can't have a seam that curves because you can't seam seal it. Well, how do we kind of keep the intention of the design, but still make it perform? So I love that challenge of really bringing design and performance together in these more technical materials.
Well, Sarah, thanks so much for taking the time to talk to us.
Yeah, thank you.
I appreciate it. And hopefully folks who are interested in the rain gear will put the Rain Ready collection on their list for this year or next.
Yeah, hopefully they put it to the test.